Imagine sitting across from some of the most successful people in history, industrial giants, inventors, business leaders, people who built entire industries from nothing. Now imagine they all agreed on a handful of principles that shaped their success. Principles so powerful that when applied with discipline, they could change the direction of anyone's life. That's the promise behind Think and Grow Rich. It isn't just a book about money, it's a book about the mental blueprint of achievement, a study of how ordinary people transform their lives by changing the way they think, act, and persist. Today, we're breaking down this classic into an engaging and structured audio journey. By the end, you'll understand the core ideas Hill spent decades researching. More importantly, you'll walk away with practical tools you can apply to your goals starting today. Let's begin. About the book and the author. Napoleon Hill published this book in 1937, after spending more than 20 years interviewing over 500 of the most influential figures of his time. His research began with an invitation from steel magnate Andrew Carnegie, who challenged him to study the psychology of success and share it with the world. Hill didn't claim to invent these principles. He claimed to uncover them, to capture the common threads that connected people who rose from nothing to extraordinary achievement. Since its release, Think and Grow Rich has become one of the most influential personal development books ever written. Millions of readers credit it with transforming their approach to work, finance, relationships, and self-belief. This book matters because it makes a bold claim. Success isn't an accident, it's a formula. Overview of the main themes. Hill organizes his findings around timeless themes: desire as the starting point of achievement, belief and imagination as forces that shape reality, autosuggestion and the power of repeated thoughts, specialized knowledge applied with purpose, planning, persistence, and decision-making as the backbone of action, the master mind, or the idea that collaboration multiplies ability, the subconscious mind, the emotion-driven engine behind behavior, the fear barriers that silently hold people back. Everything in the book leads to one central message: your mind is your greatest asset or your greatest limitation. Now let's walk through the book's structure in detail. Section by section summary. The introduction, the power of a burning desire. Hill opens with a foundational idea. Every achievement begins with a burning desire. Not a wish, not a hope, but a firm obsession. He tells the story of Edwin Barnes, a man who wanted to work with Thomas Edison. Barnes had no money, no connections, and no credentials. What he did have was determination. He showed up at Edison's office and asked for a chance. It took years of persistence, but he eventually became Edison's business partner. Hill uses this story to highlight an idea that repeats throughout the book. When a goal becomes a dominant emotion, you find ways to make it real. The first principle, desire. Hill lists 6 practical steps for transforming desire into reality. Know exactly what you want. Determine what you're willing to give in return. Set a specific date. Create a clear plan. Write it down. Read it aloud every day with conviction. This isn't magical thinking, it's psychological conditioning. You're programming your mind to prioritize your goal until your behavior aligns with it. The second principle, faith. Faith, in Hill's framework, is a state of belief created through repetition. He argues that we influence our subconscious by the thoughts we repeat, which eventually shape our confidence, our actions, and our results. Affirmations, visualization, and positive self-talk are tools for reshaping self-belief. Hill pushes the idea that belief isn't something you wait for, it's something you build. The third principle, autosuggestion. Autosuggestion is the bridge between conscious goals and subconscious motivation. Hill encourages readers to feed the mind with intentional messages, not vague hopes, but specific instructions tied to your written goals. The more emotional and vivid the repetition, the stronger the effect. The fourth principle, specialized knowledge. Hill draws a sharp line between general knowledge and specialized knowledge. General knowledge makes you informed. Specialized knowledge applied in a plan makes you powerful. He doesn't say you must know everything. He says you must know where to find people who do. This is the foundation of effective teamwork and mentorship. The fifth principle, imagination. Hill divides imagination into two types. Synthetic imagination, which rearranges existing ideas. Creative imagination, which taps into intuition and inspiration. Every business, invention, or movement begins as an idea in someone's mind. Hill's point is clear. Thoughtful imagination isn't daydreaming, it's the starting point of innovation. The sixth principle, organized planning. A goal without a plan is a wish. Hill stresses the need for a definite plan supported by a group of people, what he calls a mastermind alliance. Plans don't need to be perfect, they need to exist and be adjusted as you learn. He emphasizes persistence. Most people fail not because they lack talent, but because they quit too soon. The seventh principle, decision. Successful people make decisions quickly and change them slowly, if at all. Unsuccessful people do the opposite. Hill calls indecision the enemy of progress. If fear or outside opinions guide your choices, you lose control of your direction. The eighth principle, persistence. Hill describes persistence as the habit of pushing forward despite difficulty. He warns that failure is often temporary. Most people retreat at the first sign of resistance, unaware that success may be one effort away. Persistence is strengthened by desire, willpower, habit, and a supportive environment. The ninth principle, the mastermind. A mastermind is a group of people who coordinate knowledge and effort in a spirit of harmony. Hill believed that collective intelligence multiplies individual ability. He uses examples of successful partnerships and business teams to show how collaboration unlocks opportunities that solo effort can't reach. The 10th principle, the mystery of sex transmutation. One of Hill's more unusual concepts, sex transmutation refers to redirecting emotional energy into creative and productive output. He argues that strong emotional states, when harnessed, can drive achievement at a higher level. It isn't about suppression. It's about channeling desire into ambition. The 11th principle, the subconscious mind. Hill presents the subconscious as a constantly running engine, fed by our emotions and thoughts. Positive inputs strengthen confidence and initiative. Negative inputs strengthen fear and hesitation. The subconscious doesn't judge, it absorbs whatever you feed it. The 12th principle, the brain. Hill describes the brain metaphorically as a broadcasting and receiving station for thoughts. Whether taken literally or figuratively, the idea reinforces the importance of mental environment, the people we talk to, the ideas we consume, and the beliefs we adopt. The 13th principle, the sixth sense. Hill wraps up with what he calls the sixth sense, a kind of intuition that emerges after you master the earlier principles. It's the quiet voice that guides decisions when logic isn't enough. Hill treats this as the peak of personal development, a blend of experience, instinct, and clarity. Understanding the role of fear, Hill identifies 6 fears that quietly sabotage success: poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, death. These fears influence decisions more than logic does. Hill warns that fear is subtle, persistent, and destructive. Conquering fear requires awareness, discipline, and self-belief. Key insights and takeaways. Here are the most valuable lessons. Strong desire creates the energy that pushes you forward. Belief shapes behavior. If you don't believe your goal is possible, your actions will reflect that doubt. Repetition rewires the mind. Your dominant thoughts eventually dominate your reality. Knowledge is only useful when applied with purpose. A plan, even an imperfect one, is better than waiting for inspiration. Persistence is the difference between temporary failure and lasting success. Collaboration accelerates growth. Fear is the silent enemy. Applied consistently, these principles help you build discipline, clarity, resilience, and confidence. What Napoleon Hill wants the reader to understand. Hill's core message is simple. Your thoughts create your direction. Your direction creates your habits. Your habits create your results. Success begins internally, long before it appears externally. If you master your thoughts, emotions, and actions, you can change your circumstances regardless of where you started. Strengths of the book. The book is filled with powerful stories that reinforce each principle. The structure is simple and easy to follow. The focus on mindset remains relevant even decades later. Many modern personal development ideas trace back to this work. Conclusion. Think and Grow Rich is more than a guide for financial success. It's a manual for intentional living. Hill offers a roadmap for turning ideas into action, doubts into confidence, and dreams into reality. The principles aren't quick fixes. They're long-term habits that reshape your identity and your results. If you're committed to personal growth, this book gives you a timeless blueprint for building a meaningful and successful life. Thanks for listening to this full audio summary on Audiobook Insights. If you enjoyed it, consider supporting the channel by liking the video, subscribing, and sharing this summary with someone who might benefit from it. Stay curious, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next episode.